The lume's off, and while most of it's pretty obvious, I've labelled everything just so we can A, remember, and B, modify the lume to simplify it. Most of it's needed, but not all, so it's good to be able to simplify it. So it's all here, and there's nothing to it really when you look at this, so that's good. But the most exciting part is Thomas just did this. This is the engine and gearbox parts to fit the 180. Well, to be honest, this should fit. We need to try out another stuff, but it fits a 1.9 TDI. It probably fits a VR5 engine. It almost certainly fits the 8 and 16 valve earlier engines from like Mark 1, 2 and 3 GTIs, because they all share the same basic architecture, so it might fit. This is some prototype parts that don't actually look as pretty as the final parts that customers would be getting, but as you can probably see, it still looks amazing. It's all TIG welded stainless steel, all made of laser cut parts. It's just these are earlier parts where the company didn't laser cut them as nice as he wanted, so we got some more done that are fucking super pretty, but fitment wise is exactly the same, and I don't care about pretty, although this does look amazing. I mean, it's better than 99% of engine mounts you would buy for a conversion. They're usually mild steel and painted. This is proper stainless TIG welded badass stuff. It all bolts up to standard Toyota places as well. It really is like a bolting thing. There's no welding or cutting involved for this, so it's really good. Seen a few comments already saying, oh, why are you putting that bigger, heavier engine in? And I've seen people saying proper stupid things like the 180 is a 50 kilos heavier than that. Well, let's find out. We have the scales, so they're both stripped down to exactly the same level. So basically a complete long block with a few pipes and ancillaries on it, no clutch or flywheel, but full engine top to bottom. Exactly the same specs, so there's no sort of, oh, excuses, this, that, the other. So let's see what they weigh. One thing I will tell you is what you can probably see straight away. That engine is bigger than that engine. It's 1.5 inches or so taller, it's 1 inch longer, and it's roughly the same width. But even from here, you could probably tell it's taller. So yeah, but I think these are Ali block. Yeah, they look at it looks aluminium block. I would suspect this is lighter, but by much, nah. I'm going with about 10 kilos. 50, like some people said, is retarded. And considering the exhaust on these weighs about bloody 30 kilos, a standard exhaust, you know, worrying about 10 kilos is just insanity. 10 kilos is 1% of the weight. So, but let's see. For all I know, that's lighter. For all I know, that's 100 kilos lighter. For all I know, they're both made of cheese. Who knows? So we'll get them on the scales now, and we will see. Thomas just mentioned another good point, to measure from the crank center line to the top of the engine, because obviously the sump height makes a difference. And well, they're the same. Crank center line to the very top of the cam covers, 17 inches both sides. That's got a shallower sump than that. But the thing is with these, you can get a different sump, an inch or 2 inches, you know, shallower than that. This engine can be much shorter, whereas without dry sumping that, I don't think you're going to get any shorter. So it is what it is. Right, so we checked the 1ZZ on the scales, and I must admit, as soon as we picked it up, it's like, oh, hang on, this is light. This is lighter than I thought. And it is quite light. 82 point, well, I said 82.2 now, but it was 82.3 a minute ago, but just over 82 kilos. But considering some people have said that weighs 50 kilos more, I can't imagine somehow that weighing
that one has to weigh 130.
I reckon that's going to weigh no more than about 100. Either way, Let's find out.
You know what? Let's keep it rolling. Because
Yeah.
people, I know people are going to be saying, oh, they can push.
Oh right, yeah.
It's not real.
Yeah, I think this is all CGI. So yeah. Yeah. Let's leave that here.
No, you keep rolling.
Okay, you two do it. Okay, okay.
We're gonna do it.
Right, so this is surprisingly light.
No CGI, so very light.
Right, so back to zero, look, so there's no bullshit. So now lift this one.
And this one here, well, this one now weighs 130 kilograms. So
According to the person that claimed there were 50 more, then yeah.
Oh no, this is...
Yeah, yeah, it should stand up. They stand up okay.
Well, I have to put a finger on it just to
Yeah.
keep it. Hold on.
You're going to say it needs to be something light though, otherwise you're
Adding
messing.
the weight of this.
Adding the weight of a thing. That actually just took it over the level from one to the next. Oh, fucking hell, that did add a bit. There you go. 102.5. So it's 20 kilos exactly heavier.
20 kilos.
20 kilos. And that is actually less weight than the standard MR2 exhaust, to be honest.
So it's like a difference between half a tank and full tank.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's undrivable.
Yeah.
I don't think this is
Yeah.
worth the...
Yeah. Literally, the difference is between about half a tank of fuel.
So you've got 20 kilograms difference, and between twice or 4 times the power.
Yeah,
Not worth it.
exactly.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Roughly 20 kilos is roughly 2% extra weight. Does it really make any difference?
Well, once you remove the standard exhaust, I think you still gain something.
Yeah, yeah. With the standard exhaust gone, you know, because that weighs more than 20 kilos. The whole standard exhaust is best part of 30 kilos. I think it's heavy as hell.
Well, of course, you have to put the turbo on this.
Yeah.
But then, when you put the turbo on, it one's easy.
Yeah.
Same stuff.
It's the same,
Exhaust
yeah.
manifold,
Yeah.
turbo.
So, yeah.
Should we put the exhaust manifold and a turbo on it? Just to see. So this is
Yeah.
heavy. So all of this is fairly heavy, can't go heavy on this as exhaust. It's gonna add quite a little bit more, but
Not much. Over 10.
112.
112, no?
So this is your about 300, 350 brakes.
Yeah.
That is your 6.5.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe 7 horsepower.
But it's lighter.
And burning oil. The main attraction for me is, yeah, these engines aren't bad, they're light, and they can make 280 odd on standard internals turboed, but the money you spend on parts, aftermarket ECU, expensive turbo system, all that, it costs a fortune to make it 280 brake. Whereas even with standard internals, with one of these, all the parts are available. You know, all of that stuff there, that manifold's £100 delivered. Do you know what I mean? It's like, these are like a dream to build. The standard ECU can do like 600 plus horsepower. It's more capable than most aftermarket ones. So there you go. 20 kilos, not 50, and certainly not enough to make any bloody difference. Right, it's that time. 180. Obviously this is only the mock-up. We'll take this back out again once we know how everything's going to sit, but 180 complete is now going in the MR2. Will it straight fit?
Let's see how long it's going to take.
Yeah, let's see. Let's actually...
We started in a bad way because the engine's supposed to stay flat, and it's tilted to the gearbox side because this one doesn't have a shallow sump yet. So I'm doing this the wrong way. Yeah, it should be all nice and flat, so everything fits easier. But who cares?
Let's see how long it'll take still. You keep that mount, well, that part of that mount, and that part of that mount, and that part of that mount, and remove that one, and then you're in.
Then you put this side on. but not that one. That one.
You do that last,
okay.
is it? Yeah.
Ready to fit, but not fit. Position everything roughly ish to be accurate. It is better when you clean the floor, so the trolley actually moves. Okay, we go on this side. Well, let's get closer with the chassis on the top and then we'll see where we are. No, I think the handbrake cables.
I was going to say, I don't know if you need to move them. No, they're clearing. Just, yep, they're clear.
Okay, let's have a look.
Close already.
So, go forward. Roughly there. I guess. Again, engine is tilted, isn't straight, so.
Go forward a tiny bit, by the looks of it, on that side.
Forward. Make it slide in. Again, I'm doing this as a one-man job, so.
Stop. It's just catching, it needs to go, that's it, needs to go maybe back half a centimetre. Look, it's half hole out. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, is that. Okay.
Yeah, we're in.
There you go.
And we're in. One mount.
One mount. And the second mount, because I'm a short ass, and the car is on the road to make my life easier. Right, this one here. So come on this side. We put this one on, and the reason we put this one on late now, because obviously this is it goes wider, so it will catch on the chassis. You have to do it later. Okay, obviously we're off, because I said the engine is tilted. This side is much higher. So let's put these ones on. These are the original Volkswagen bolts, just shortened about what, 12 mil, 12, 15 mil?
Yeah, roughly. Somewhere between 10 and 15, it's not much. But being the original ones, at least you know they're good as well.
So, put them on. As you can see in a minute, or in a second, you torque them down to, like I just did, to 15 Newton meters per kilogram. There you go. So right torque settings. Now, again, if you have the engine obviously flat, this will actually match that. Now, obviously, because we're starting with.
Yeah, because we're not starting with a flat sump. Yeah, now you can push it back a bit. There you go. I can, if I hold it.
I have to show you this is
Oh right, this is literally, it's like one finger to move it as well. Can you get to it like that?
Oh yeah, plenty of space.
That's the thing, see, depending on what kind of person you are, a lot of people, because they like being flashy, they'll have all new, brand new, shiny bolts anyway, so none of this will matter. They'll spend 500 quid on all these fancy bolts that we would never bother with.
But this is just to show how quick and easy it is anyway, even in a dirt two-way.
Yeah.
Let's again just quickly, because again this has to come off anyway. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, literally we're doing this to A, prove it works, and B, check for fitment of everything.
And obviously we can show how nicely this engine sits in comparison to the original one.
Yeah. I can already tell it sits lower.
Oh yeah, honestly, it's like the original one. You can barely fit these fingers in. And look you can walk on it. You can walk on the plenum, on the injectors, on the fuel rail.
You can't barely see anything on the standard engine, but these, with Thomas's fitting kit, it sits lower.
And there you go, engine in. Obviously, needs all this stuff, but obviously the hardware, the engine itself, is in and is that.
And is that the position, the angle and all that as well, is it? No?
The angle, you're going to set up now.
Okay.
Which is very simple. This is the one that says the angle.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Let's find it. Goes through.
Yeah, one of the most useful things when fitting these engines to these cars is just a little table to sit it on, because as you can see, I mean, I'm really looking for, well, I'm not looking forward to it, but I love the fact that I can drop this engine, as you've proven to me the first time around with the TDI. Yeah. You can literally take these out in 10 minutes. Because when Thomas was considering it, when it had the K24 in, he said, oh, I reckon it'll only take me 10 minutes to see if it'll fit or not. And I was like, yeah, right then. And it really did take 10 minutes.
So this is the bolt from the bottom mount, which you put it this way. Can't see because I got the flashlight.
Oh yeah, lights. I do apologise. Oh god,
that's right. Okay, so it's roughly there. Put it on. Go. Went through. And obviously again, this is not really so that, but just put a couple of bolts just to make it fit. There you go, one here and one goes there, but again the proper ones.
Yeah.
Okay, let's lower it down. We're never going to put that through.
No, it's literally just to show.
That sum is actually not far from.
No, it's not a bad position at all.
The pity is the shallow one actually changes this angle.
Yeah.
So it'll be here.
Yeah.
Just this will be higher. It will be in line with the gearbox.
Yeah.
So it's in line with.
Yeah, it doesn't really make much difference then, does it?
No, not much.
Very good. Very, very good.
There you go.
Beautiful.
There you go. Clearance.
Yep, easily. It should stay in place.
Exhaust here.
Yep.
And you got plenty of space for the box. You want to make it quieter.
Yeah.
This goes here.
That's fine. Yeah, I was going to say, don't need to rotate that.
This goes top here.
Yep.
To the MAF sensor there, which is called the intake, which we already proven in mine.
Yep.
Works brilliant. Should we now have a look from behind how much space you have? Look, I can put my face and move my hand.
Yeah.
I can just easily grab to the thermostat, to the oil filter housing, to everything, the plenum potentially. Let's have a look on the original.
Yes. Yes.
Because when I say that I think these engines actually fit better than the original ones, people might think I'm full of shit.
Yeah.
Because they say, well, if they invented this chassis around this engine, no, it's not. It doesn't work this way.
Yes, that is far higher.
Okay.
That's how the standard engine fits.
So let's forget all of this because it's not there. But look, I challenge you to fit your hand in there.
Yeah. Unless you've got little girly hands.
But even if you can fit your hand there, you can't work.
Can't work on it. No chance.
So.
And. Yeah.
Am I full of shit of saying that engine actually fits better than the original?
It fits far better, lower, and that's the thing. See, even if it weighs a tiny bit more, it's a lower centre of gravity now, so it's far better. So, I mean, look how much more room there is, because that, well, like I was shown earlier in the video, there is this engine dimensions-wise, you know, height, width, length, everything, is a bit bigger than the Volkswagen Audi engine, and you can kind of see by the engine bay, regardless of all the shit, it's taking up more room. Oh,
do something. Let's have a look how your charge cooler fits.
Good point.
Because yours is actually bigger than.
It's big. It's big. It's a big charge cooler. You could get rid. You could get away with a lot smaller.
The battery obviously going to be moved behind the passenger seat, which is very easy to do. But it's like that's how you have to do it. So let's see.
Nearly.
There you go. So if I remove those pipes there, because obviously they sit on the top of the engine mount. So this stays slightly lower. I see it's a little bit too big, but you
Can we angle it? Yeah.
You can make it work. If you put it this way, it probably, yeah, that's enough space there to make a 90-degree pipe.
Because don't forget, it'll be a reducer as well. It's only going to be a small, you know,
yes,
because these outlets are massive.
even if you put it this way, like that already fits.
Yeah,
That already fits.
Exactly.
There you go.
And look, compressor outlet.
And this is pretty much, this is too big.
This is way too big. This is like, I'll put it this way, the Boosted Boys MR2 at run 7s with 1100 horsepower, their charge cooler is about half the size. And while they don't need it so much for cooling because they run methanol, it can flow the power still. It's made 1100, so it's not like you're not going to have, that's not a restriction. So yeah.
Now,
but
do you understand why I'm so excited about this?
Yes. I mean, I can't get over what, you know, remember what it was like?
Okay, there was one thing that we have to try.
What, the inlet? That'd be the big one. On there, Thomas, there.
Oh, because I'm gonna remove the front.
Yeah, you fit that after.
You know, that fits full of this. I don't wanna.
Don't make it harder for ourselves.
We have to be honest. I didn't, because obviously for me, plan on. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't fit. I can make one.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to see.
Oh, it'd be nice to have less work and just.
Oh, it's fairly away from the engine, so. You know,
it's a funny angle as well. That's the thing. The way the port angle is on these, it's not straight out. So, oh fucking hell, it's gonna fit. It's a funny. I think it has to be angled. Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, it's upwards. I think. Yeah. It's.
Just looking for the.
Yeah, it's a tricky position. But I was worried it wouldn't get on the studs. But it will. I wonder how that other guy fitted his then, if he claimed... There's a guy I've been speaking to who's already got a 180 one of these. It's unfinished, but the engine's in. And it's a really nice car. Lovely, like, looking. Immaculate. But he said they had trouble with not enough room against the bulkhead, height-wise, and into the engine bay-wise.
Yeah, but it all depends.
So it's obviously engine position.
It all depends. This is the thing, you see. People thinking, well, just engine mounts. It's not. It's sort of fucking about, to be honest, to find the right position.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get it as in the best position possible, and works out for both. That one and this one even better. And you know, I have to be honest, with the 1.8 plenum I haven't tested. I've tested on the 1.9, and I made the engine to work on the 1.9 as the best of the possibilities. But because the block and the gearbox is the same, you know, that's the main thing that fits perfectly. Now, the 1.8 turbo is a different head, it's actually more narrow, and everything fits even better. You got more space here, and there you go. This is the.
I'm amazed that's going to go on, and it
Again,
is.
one hand. All right, so.
That's amazing.
Ta-da! Look,
Look how much room we got. Yeah, you still get your hand behind it.
you see? This is not even.
I love this because this makes like, oh man, the fact you can
sorry.
work on. Yeah, stand it up. Yeah.
There you go. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So you can't put a few feet on that, but there you go.
It clears.
On the top, from behind it, behind the firewall, obviously there, plenty of space, about 30-40 mil on the top. Now realistically, let's put it square to the head.
If you got any 10mm bolts, you just
I got
10mm nuts, you'll get a lot on.
I got 20-25 mil space from the top. And remember, when this engine accelerates, it tilts back.
Back, yeah.
But it doesn't tilt, because we already proven on mine.
Yeah, they're
does
solid.
not
Yeah,
move.
these mounts.
So 20-25 mil here on the top, that's more than plenty.
Yes.
There you go.
I am
Standard
so happy the standard
And
benefits.
with this position, you tell me, is this enough space to work on the injector?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That was my only worry. It was like, is it going to be awkward? I knew it was going to be possible, But look at the, I mean, with a 1ZZ, there's no chance of work, no chance.
No.
Imagine getting the inlet off a 1ZZ in the bay, you can't. It's an engine out job.
There you go.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. You
Yeah,
can just...
you do it all from the top, all there, you know. And that's the beauty of these as well, is when it's in the air, you can see everything from underneath as well.
You can take the head cover off if you want to. You can walk on the side of the engine, plenty of space. You know, if you remove the mount, then you can change the belt and everything.
Yeah.
It's just good.
Tons of room. This fits. I mean, we was pretty confident because we've known it from yours, but this fits better than I imagined.
Plus, let's be honest about it. You know what I was doing with the workshop. I supposed to be back on the lorries and not dealing with this crap anymore. But these little cars just convinced me to stay in the workshop because it's just great. They've
got amazing potential. And this is a comedy thing as well. I'll point out about a lot of the parts on this. Like standard hoses just go into like where they're meant to on the look.
1.8 will be actually
look, bonk and stuff like that. It's like so many parts. Like the I think I've mentioned before, but like the clutch line goes straight into the slave cylinder for the gearbox and so on. It's
and this is obviously now there's a difference between the diesel and the petrol gearbox. The linkage, this one has ball fittings, okay, and the diesel one has the pins. Now I'm not sure which one is it, but I think it's this one here. So this is your. Oh, you haven't removed these?
No.
Yeah, they're gonna be hard to remove because they're old. However, this one goes there. There you go, and you adjust it forth and back. Obviously, whatever, because obviously they're old and or different. They can be stretched, or you want to position your gear stick exactly where you want it, and you adjust it with that. And it's very simple. Obviously, there's another section here, but I mean, I've shown that on the other videos.
Yeah.
Simple.
It's brilliant, and there's still room for the throttle body unmodified, isn't there? Looks like it. It's an electronic throttle, isn't it?
Oh, there you go. Might even need that.
Yeah. Oh, you got loads of room.
Yeah. Up.
Tons of room. Yeah. Yeah, you've got about an inch either way, so perfect. Couldn't be better. And yeah, if you imagine, this is a baby turbo, but look how much room you've got to work with to do whatever you want. You know, you want to build a crazy, you know, 1500 brake giant turbo, still all the room in the world. Bearing in mind the bumpers here backwards, so yeah, and that's a very noisy, but not in a nice way, 205 rally car. I'm very, very impressed, and yeah, if anyone's not, they gotta be a bit special, because it's like,
hey, it's,
you know, it's, I mean, it's like, it's about 4 inches lower than the standard engine by the looks of it.
yeah,
It's about 4 inches lower, and that is the main thing. You can cry all you like about an extra 20 kilos of engine weight, but I bet you the 4 inches lower of engine position makes a lot more difference to handling.
but even if it is actually in overall 20 kilograms heavier, so what? It's like half a tank of fuel, not even
that. Exactly. 2% extra weight is nothing. You would not.
How much you gain? Now you gain in, this is stronger engine, more reliable. Well, not talking the power, because this is an obvious point. You can have all the power in the world you want, more than you can handle probably. It's easier to work than the original one. You have the access to the full plan on to everything. In comparison to the standard one, that one is a nightmare to work on it. In comparison to this, this is, look, it's like how many times I have to prove it. I mean, again, it gets me so excited. I mean, again, this wasn't even a proposal for a business. I bought myself a car, bought myself an engine, and I said, this is what I want to do. And then I went, but you remember, the classic way, oh, everyone does K20, K24 scope, you know, I mean, they're great engines, let's do it. And I was like, what, 5K lighter on the pocket? And it wasn't even halfway through.
No.
It was like, no, this is not good. Above the engine mounts, they were crap, not complete. Because this is all complete with all the engine mounts. The K20 swap, you get the kit for the engine swap, but you have to get another engine mount.
Yeah.
So what? Doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's the thing. I said like a K20 swap's a good £7,000 even doing it all yourself, and somebody's like, "Oh, it's not that expensive." It bloody is. It is.
It is.
It really is. It's like it's a lot of money for all the bits. It's like no matter what you're thinking, because you've done it. It's not like imagining it. You've done it.
Yeah.
You know something else quite funny I've just noticed?
Go on.
The main reason I bought this car, well, no, the main reason the guy sold this car and also sold it cheap is because the original engine had a head gasket problem, he thought. And he lost the use of a lift, so he couldn't get the engine out to do the head gasket. With this engine, you wouldn't even have to drop the bloody engine to get the engine out. With a 1ZZ, you have to
With a
1ZZ to do a head gasket,
Is this fair?
you have to, because it's literally there, you have to take the engine out. You could not physically lift the head off. This, you undo this, the 4 bolts of the strut brace, you can easily take the head off in situ.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking hell. You've suddenly made a very hard to work on car
But again, this,
much more user friendly.
And this now, well, this is going to be promotion for my engine modes. Fair enough, not being cocky, but it is. This is not because the engine, this is because of the engine position.
Yes.
Because you can fit this engine in a different position and the plenum would not fit. You can put this engine slightly higher, tilted forward, and then you won't be able to obviously work on this stuff, as we're saying. But if you obviously trying to find a great position, like the perfect, which we did, there you go, this is the result.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know, it's just,
Yeah.
I'm just really excited about
It is. It's everything, and also this is, you know, I think it's probably been mentioned, but not in this list of stuff we've talked about. Is parts, price, and availability for these is better than practically any engine there is. Full stop. They are incredibly cheap, incredibly common, incredibly well catered for in the tuning scene, and it's all been done as well. Do you know what I mean? It's a well trodden path. You've got everything from 1500 plus horsepower drag cars to 300 horsepower daily drivers and everything in between. So it's not like you're, oh, I wonder what's going to break. I wonder what to do. You don't need to worry about it. It's all been done.
I want to quickly do a comparison with the K20 or K24. Yeah, K24 is actually more expensive than K20 because you have to change the gearbox, you have to change the mounts, you have to change the oil pump in the sump. But let's do K20, all right? So electric wise, you have to buy this whatever it was that
box of tricks, whatever it is, yeah.
To make the clocks work. Okay, fair enough, good. You have to go for the ECU mods. What was it called?
K-Pro.
The K-Pro, exactly.
Yeah,
Transform the standard ECU into fully mappable ECU, which is very capable. Guess what? This is Bosch stuff.
Yeah.
It's already fully mappable, already open. You can do lots of stuff. You can do launch control. You can do everything, anti-lag and everything on these ECUs.
Yeah.
And both engines, they go okay with this. Now, these engines on the standard ECU, I think they're good for what? About 450, 500, 550 brakes, something like this on the standard ECU before you need a...
Yeah, I've seen, I think I've seen over 600 on the standard ECU before. It's really limited. I mean, I've seen a R32 engine over 1,000 on the standard ECU. So,
and now,
you know.
bear in mind, with the engine loom I'm making and the standard ECU, everything works. No need fancy electronics, no need fancy boxes or anything, just plug and play, off you go. So it's so simple. And bring this to reliable 5550, you put the rods, you do exhaust valves, what else you do? I think that's it.
Not much.
Standard pistons, they're good for up to 600, so let's call it 500. But a standard, well, standard, you increase your grip because you, you need more tires at that power level, but 500 brakes in MR2, you add levels of what cars in comparison?
Hypercars. Basically, from a roll, you'd be alongside a Veyron, no problem. Yeah, I think a Veyron's 550 per ton or maybe less than that, but it's also four-wheel drive, so it's probably got less power to the wheels per ton. Because
with a calculator, we've seen mine 1.9, once we remarked with the big injectors, I'm ahead to actually staying on paper just ahead of dirty diesel, you're ready with the supercars.
Yeah, easily.
And that's even cheaper than this. It's like no-brainer. So it transformed these cars to no, they look good, they handle good, but fuck me, they're slow, to what bad you want to say about this?
Yeah.
One? This is 1.8 turbo, capable of anything from 200 to 200 brakes.
And a super light, you know, as a modern cars go, super light, brilliant handling, mid-engine, well built.
You don't have to spend big
Yeah.
money. Because again, you're going for what, 350, 350 now?
On this at the moment, 300 to 350, standard internals, little turbo, you know.
Again, 350 of this takes you to the range of
Yeah, supercars straight away, yeah.
And how much you spend? These engines, they're pennies, gearboxes are pennies.
Yeah, literally you can pick up an engine and gearbox for about 300 quid, like complete. I paid 250 for the engine complete with turbo, manifold, loom, everything, just because it was very complete and local. But you often see for like 300, 350, the engine plus the 6-speed box, and sometimes cheaper, and like apart, you know, separately, you sometimes see gearboxes for well under £100 and engines for less than 200, and they don't tend to break very easily. And even if they did, they cost peanuts to rebuild. The standard head gasket and everything is an MLS gasket. You're not spending like you know, hundreds of pounds for your rated head gasket. The standard gasket is a badass MLS one that take all the power in the world.
And everything's easy.
Yeah, well that's the thing. It's that stupidly cheap that even though you don't necessarily need to until well over 300 horsepower, a lot of people's like, oh, exhaust valves and rods are so cheap, you might as well just chuck them in anyway. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a car where it doesn't cost much, and people they do it for no reason.
There's so many performance companies, they had interest in these engines and developed a lot of good parts, and they sell them so many that they take the price down. So
exactly.
everything is available. And as a swap, well, this is literally what you have to do. Then you have to just tie the bolts up, which I didn't. There's another motor behind, which is just additional one, and that's it. The engine is in with the gearbox and everything. The plenum fits, the exhaust fits. There's no fancy fabrication. There's not gonna be, yeah, that fits, but then you need a mechanic, you need a fabricator to build this, or to build a turbo system. Because this actually comes, well, I'm making everything. If, you know, you don't want to obviously spend your own time fabricate stuff with the whole turbo system. Yeah. And it goes in, everything bolts in. So there's no cutting, there's no fabricating, there's no welding. You don't need a fancy fabricator shop or even a clever mechanic. You can do it on your own driveway. Because I've seen people just jacking this up massively, slide the engine from the bottom. This actually fits in easier than the standard one.
Far easier. If you could do a 1ZZ, you can do this with your eyes closed.
I'm getting one weekend, old engine out, new engine in. Another weekend, take your time, connect the electrics and all that stuff, you know, put a bigger turbo exhaust, off you go.
And it's not as if these engines are only, you know, well proven in like the modified car world and road car world. They were used in World Rally cars. You know, the Skoda World Rally cars, certainly Seat and Skoda use these engines. Formula Palmer Audi single-seater racing use these engines. They are genuinely bloody good. They're not just like, you know, they've got motorsport history as well as tuned road car history. They're very underrated in my opinion.
There's a big downside. 20 kilograms.
20 whole kilograms, oh no. And it's not Japanese, I do apologise for the JDM fanboys. It's a German engine. Really sorry. But you could put a Toyota badge on it if you wanted. It's up to you. I bet.
Should I do it? Should I include that in the kit?
Yeah, put the ones, for £150 extra, you get some adapter plates, puts the standard 1ZZ cam cover over the top. And the thing is, even with the 1ZZ plastic engine cover over the top, you'd still have more room to work on it than a standard engine. So it's like,
to be honest, I find that people get that kind of offended or whatever with the wrong engine, wrong chassis. To be honest, well, once I finished the 1.9, I wanted to go for the 1.8, but because I find the 1.9 TDI so funny and so good, but also funny because I put that badge in place in purpose. You pass people and they're like 1.9 TDI. Surely that's not right.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a Golf engine.
Yeah.
I just find it hilarious. I'm gonna leave it as it is.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna swap that engine from now. I'm just gonna.
No, it's great. I've seen quite a few people already been like, because obviously I'm 180 in this, when I mentioned it, they're like, I love this, but I'm definitely doing a 1.9 in mine. Because I want the performance, but 65 miles per gallon as well.
The problem is, on paper, it sounds, I admit, it sounds wrong to put a dirty diesel engine in one of these. But, and there was an experiment where we say, is like, do you remember, I was always bothered by that.
We didn't
idea.
know if
and
it was going to...
Just do it. Yeah. And quickly put it in, first test. Even with, remember, within the original map, it was like 160 brakes, whatever. This was already great. It was like, no, I'm keeping this. This is.
And literally, everybody that went in, it was like, this is brilliant. It's like, you know, because that's the thing. I mean, obviously, there's a video I posted a few weeks ago, the original test on this car. I'm going to do an updated one once the bigger injectors are mapped.
Next weekend.
Next weekend, is it?
Yeah, David is coming next Friday to map.
Oh, okay.
The injectors are on bigger map, and we're going to see about 300-ish.
That's going to be ridiculous.
320.
That's going to be insane.
Because the torque is massive at that.
Yeah.
Part.
That's what I mean. It's like, it's going to be, it's just going to be an animal.
And the thing is, we got, because obviously I got big tyres on everywhere, it actually hooks.
Yeah, it hooks fine.
So
it's always hook fine. Just to confirm to myself how everything fits, I actually bolted up the exhaust manifold, turbo, inlet manifold, and added the throttle body just to check fitment. And yeah, there is tons of room. I mean, plenty of room all around the inlet, and that's obviously the tightest spot. Zero modifications needed. Happy days. I can't even begin to explain how fucking good this conversion is. I'm so pleased. Right, this is the car from underneath. As you can see, if we look underneath the car, the height of everything is basically same as the floor pan. It's slightly higher than the chassis rails and brace bars, so it's not like it's hanging low. And like I said, if you wanted to make it slightly higher than the gearbox, you can buy the aftermarket steel sumps, which are shallower, which takes about an inch or so off the bottom of it, but bolt straight on. I'll show you under the back. This is the back. As you can see, loads of room for oil filter to get it on and off. No problem doing that. Plenty of room for the water hoses. Easy. There is the inlet manifold, as you can see, with clearance all around. More than the standard car for sure. So yeah, all really, really good. The fact you can pull the inlet manifold on and off that easy is just a bloody dream. So yeah, plenty of room for the starter. As you can probably tell by the masses of room up there, tons of room for the alternator and all that, which goes there. If you wanted to, there is room for the aircon. You know, the aircon compressor, there's plenty of room for it. I know Thomas won't be making a kit specifically to have aircon, but when the aircon compressor goes literally there and the aircon pipes are literally there, it wouldn't take a fucking genius, if you wanted to buy this conversion kit, the mounts and all that, and then fit the aircon yourself. In this country, especially on a convertible, you don't need aircon. No way. This country's not hot enough for that. You know, even without a convertible, you only need aircon for about a week a year. So it's not worth it for us. But yeah. But look, everything's just dead easy to work on. Absolutely brilliant. So now the mock-up's in place, I can work out, well, I can buy a few more bits that I need to buy. Mock up where everything's going to go, and then it can all come back out again, all get cleaned up and tidied up and made lovely, and then go in for the final time, and then it's time to drive it, and I cannot wait. But yeah, All good. All good indeed. So yeah, hope you like this video. I expect it's a bit of an eye-opener, because it sure is for me. And this is probably a long video, but tough shit, there's too much good stuff on it. So yeah, you either watch it all or you miss out, because it's just non-stop everything you need to know. So yeah, happy days and good times, and make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Show your friends, because you wouldn't want a 180 or 19 TDI MR2. And I'll see you next time. See you later.